Good afternoon and a warm welcome to Nationwide, live on the network service of the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. President Muhammadu Buhari has sympathized with the government and people of Borno State over the terror at Auno, which claimed many lives, including travelers, with a call on the civil populace to intensify support to the security operatives to end the insurgency. The president, who came directly from Ethiopia, where he was attending African Union Summit, cut short his trip to sympathize with the state and reassured of federal government's commitment to quick resolution of the reign of terror. Mohammed Goni reports. Okay, details of this report will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletins. The House of Representatives has urged security agencies to henceforth allow travelers to Maiduguri proceed on their journeys even beyond 6 p.m. This follows a matter of urgent public importance from House Chief Whip Mohammed Tahir Mongonu on last Sunday's Boko Haram attack on travelers in Auno village of the outskirts of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The lawmakers want military authorities to stop keeping commuters on the Damaturu Road overnight, while also calling for the declaration of a state of emergency on security in the country. Wednesday's plenary also urged the federal government to prevail on security agencies to deploy more personnel and intensify patrol around Birnin Gwari in Kaduna State in order to tackle attacks and kidnappings. A bill seeking the integration of CCTV infrastructure into national security network and a bill to establish Nigeria Institute of Translators and interpreters went through second reading. The reconstituted National Reconciliation Committee of the All Progressives Congress has promised to genuinely reconcile aggrieved members of the party. Chairman of the committee and former interim national chairman of the party, Chief Bisi Akonde, led the 12-man committee to the party's national secretariat in Abuja to officially commence their role as peace builders of the party. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
Political analysts say intra-party disagreement is synonymous with viable political parties across democratic nations. Therefore, harnessing parties' potentials and galvanizing efforts to effectively manage issues and remain steadfast in promoting their ideology is crucial. As a governing party, the All Progressives Congress is working towards harnessing its glory by renewing confidence among members and Nigerians who sees it as a platform for change, hence the National Reconciliation Committee.
The broad terms of reference that have been identified includes to identify intra-party conflicts or squabbles or misunderstanding in any of the 36 states of the Federation, including, of course, the Federal Capital Territory. Identify those involved in the conflict with a view to resolving the issues and enthroning lasting peace.
Members of the committee have expressed confidence and ability to strengthen the party and build peace.
We are certainly going to do a very good job for the progress of this party.
Meanwhile, leaders of the Zamfara State chapter of the party also solicited the support of the National Working Committee to ensure inter-party harmony in the state.
We are here to show our homage and as well to see the commitment of our party men and women in Zamfara State, and the Zamfara State remain APC.
We are already having conversation in our party. What is happening in Zamfara is also happening in some states, even in the south. I want to thank you for remaining strong and maintaining the party in Zamfara State, and I assure you that the National Working Committee will stand by you.
Former Governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, led the delegation. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
With rising concerns on the actualization of the 2020 United Nations Decade of Action on Sustainable Development Goals, experts on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live made the case for a more coordinated work plan for proper monitoring and evaluation of projects at the grassroots. Donyi Dia tells us more.
Since its adoption in 2015, a huge expectation has risen on the United Nations Decade of Action on Sustainable Development Goals, a shared vision to end extreme poverty, rescue the planet, and build a harmonious and peaceful society for all. Experts are, however, worried that despite the progress made in education and health-related issues such as polio and child mortality, amongst others, there are still areas begging for attention. Weighing the effects of the SDGs on African continent and its sub-regions, the canvas for a robust collaboration from government and other key players which would drive investment and socio-economic development of countries.
So looking to government to provide the enabling environment, the infrastructure, the power that we see, that's necessary, but investing in young people so that they can take charge of their own lives as well.
The commitments that the president made, he committed to ensuring peace and security of Nigeria, because that's the first thing. Without peace and security, you can't even be able to attain your economic objectives. But having made some progress in that, we're concentrating on growing the economy, but growing the economy in a manner that is inclusive and sustainable.
It's in the States you find human trafficking, you find all the humanitarian crisis we talk about. So we governors have to deal with those challenges on a daily basis. And so for us, the SDG cannot and should not just be another global concept. It must be a concept we own. It has to be part of our planning process.
What we try to do in civil society is to ensure people are empowered at the grassroots to make specific demands, and then what we seek to do is to find ways of channeling those demands from citizens to governments.
On security and regional instability, especially in the West African region, the guests recommend a review of protocols on regional integration and trade liberalization, as well as the recharging of the Lake Chad Basin. In Abuja, Donyi Dia, NT News.
In the meantime, guests on NTA's flagship program Good Morning Nigeria have called for an urgent need to review the 2015 APES bank regulations to allow family members easy access to their deceased relative bank deposits in order to address the speculations going around that bank managers and staff take over the money of their dead clients after years of dormancy. Mojanatu Adam Said monitored the program and now reports.
The general consensus of guests is that the volume of funds left in Nigerian banks by the deceased client is in the volume of billions of naira. And in many cases, the immediate family may not even be aware of such banks' balances. They, however, suggested that regulators should, as a matter of necessity, make policy for easy access for the names of king or the beneficiaries of the account in case of the demise of the account holder.
A whole department has now been created in the CBN called Consumer Protection Department, where this kind of complaints could be initiated too, even, like I said, by third parties, in this case, these deceased heirs or beneficiaries, and that could initiate some form of action. But for now, the bank itself, I think, ordinarily, like I said, based on all those requirements of confidentiality and banker-customer relationship, could hardly want to come to the aid of the deceased.
Maybe majority of Nigerians do not have wills, either because they don't have money to will or because many of them do not believe in the will system. I'm a lawyer for about 35 years, but I'm a Muslim. I don't believe in writing wills. because the Sharia law has provided for how my estate will be distributed after I pass away.
They added that family members on their part should be transparent with each other in their dealings in banks and other financial institutions.
Somebody who opens an account, maybe when he starts working and is unmarried, he picks a brother or a friend as next of kin, and he even forgets to change over after marriage, either to the wife or to the children if they are of age. Now there is a problem of a relation, either distant or close relation. Who is the next of kin? What will the bank do?
And also another way of doing it is by having a joint account. So when you have a joint account, that's in situations to avoid the rigors of having to get letters of administration or have a will admitted to probate. So you could also have a joint account, in which case whoever survives the other person automatically takes the money in the account, except there's a contrary instruction.
The guests say the issue deserves collective reorientation by all to address such related occurrences. In Abuja, Murjana to Adam Said, NTA News.
And now to judicial matters. The progress in Nigeria's fight against crime and corruption has been attributed to the role of the nation's appellate courts in the implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. This position was stated at a national colloquium held in Abuja for justices of the Court of Appeal. Femi Okeowo reports.
The colloquium, which is jointly organized by the Center for Social Legal Studies, the National Judicial Institute, and the MacArthur Foundation, brought together justices of the various divisions of the Court of Appeal in Nigeria. Chief Justice of Nigeria, in his message, called for continuous updating of knowledge for judicial officers. Speakers examined areas of successes and challenges as Nigeria grapples with the implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act and the restoration of confidence in the nation's judicial system, one of the areas of great concern for the President of the Court of Appeal.
I'd worked with notable jurists of our time, and I know the sacrifices we make for the sake of Nigeria, in spite of the negative reporting we've gotten. We've done our best for Nigeria.
The appellate courts are very powerful. If the appellate courts had allowed stay of proceedings, they would have taken us back to the old days when stay of proceedings were used to stall the trial of high-profile cases.
In addition to celebrating the outgoing president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Zainab Bukachua, this colloquium goes a long way in emphasizing the efforts of appellate courts in the implementation of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
It's now time to join Ruth in Lagos for their contributions. Hello, Ruth.
Hello, Ifoma. Good to see you. Welcome to Lagos. A new caretaker committee for the African Democratic Congress, ADC, in Lagos State has been inaugurated. The 14-member committee was inaugurated by the national chairman of the party, Chief Ralph Nwosu, in Lagos. Tunde Saiki has details.
To the best of my ability. Faithfully.
Inaugurating the committee, the national chairman of the party, Chief Ralph Nwosu, said the decision is as a result of the need for the party to re-strategize on how to capture Lagos State. He charged the committee members to remain focused and committed to the cause, adding that Lagos State is very important both to Lagosians and Nigerians at large.
So I will expect the committee to make sure that they work hard to bring everybody on board. I can assure you, once we do this job well, we're going to march on Lagos State, and Lagos State will be delivered by ADC.
Chairman of the Caretaker Committee, Olaiwola Abisoye, said the party's common strategy is to mobilize from the grassroots and sensitize people with the aim of actualizing its ambition.
We have left being the third force. Now we are the credible alternative. So we are inviting all of you to come on board.
Other members of the committee include Demola Oladimeji, Deputy Chairman, John Kume, Secretary, Tolu Akinwumi, Treasurer, Dr. Kemdi Modi, Financial Secretary, Mabel Akomu Obo, Media and Publicity, Elkanem Idara, Welfare and Social Secretary, and Mrs. Helen Animashan, Women Leader, among others. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
Restructuring of security architecture and poverty elimination is key to curbing security challenges in the country. This was the view of speakers at a commemorative rally in honor of late Beko Ransom Kuti in Lagos. Lean Leneke reports.
The march, tagged Work Against Terror, pays tribute to the late human rights activist Beko Ransom Kuti, who passed on 40 years ago. Late Beko Ransom Kuti was a consistent defender of the oppressed, left an indelible mark on Nigeria's social and political landscape. This group of women and their supporters are appealing to leaders at all levels to emulate the late activist and stand up in defense of the masses by providing enabling environment as well as ensuring safety of lives and properties.
We want Nigerians not to give up. They should agonize less and organize more. We should rededicate ourselves to the struggle for a better Nigeria.
The ultimate solution is to have a program that will ensure jobs are provided, houses are provided, a conducive living environment for Nigerians.
Patriotism is an act of giving your life to your country unconditionally, without expecting anything in return.
The group, made up of former and current political office holders, as well as human rights activists, laid wreaths at the Beko graveside. Late Dr. Beko Kuti is from the famous Kuti's family, noted for transgenerational crusade for equity and social justice. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after this break. Don't go away.
Thanks for staying tuned. Nigeria's rich cultural potential was for the second time displayed on the world stage at the Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, tagged Festac 77. Since then, nothing has been heard about the festival. Adiola Komiakere is standing by to tell us more. Hello, Adiola.
Festac 77 was also known as the second Black Festival of Arts and Culture, and it was a major international festival which held from January 15 to February 12 in 1977. At that time, it was the largest Pan-Africa gathering to ever take place, where for one whole month, the African culture was showcased to the world in terms of music, fine arts, literature, dances, and what have you. Now, 56 nations featured about 16,000 participants in that festival. It included the legendary Stevie Wonder and Miriam Makeba of South Africa. The emblem, Festac, was crafted by Irabo Emokpai of the Royal Ivory Marks of Benin Kingdom. Festac led to the establishment of the Nigerian National Council for Arts and Culture, the Festac Village, and of course the National Theatre, where I am presently standing. Now, what inspired this initiative? Simple. It was to promote Black culture and civilization. The name of the festival was changed from the World Black Festival of Arts and Culture to Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture. All of this was in order to accommodate the realities of Africa unity. I also have someone who was actually part of the Festac 77 when it happened in Nigeria way back then, 43 years ago, and he is none other than Yusuf Maitama Ibrahim. All right, was the essence actually fulfilled for peace and African unity?
Apart from the pomp and pageantry, the dance and all, the dubber, some of the best brains around the Black world were all in Nigeria. There was high hopes then that, well, this is the beginning of the march, to freedom or something.
If you consider why
the festival was conceptualized in the first instance. It was supposed to be a celebration of Africa's culture, our arts and culture. And basically, if you're celebrating arts and culture, it's like our total way of life, our music, our artifacts, our language, and so on. So I think it's very relevant. But my only problem is the lack of continuity.
So studio is back to you.
Many thanks, Adiola. And as Nigeria marks the 43rd anniversary of the end of Festac 77, Ivie Oyakire reports on the sculptor whose work became the face of the festival.
The year 1977, when the Festival of Arts and Culture was to hold, the face of Idia was chosen as the symbol for Festac 77. Guess what? It came under the stable of a Benin man, now Chief Joseph Ibinovia, also known as Alufa. NTA went in search of this man who capped the name of Edo's in gold with the global recognition the symbol brought. We met him sculpting as he took us down memory lane.
When they choose it, they found it everywhere in Benin Kingdom. They didn't see the head, but they see the picture which the British sent from London. When the federal government tell the British government to bring that one in their possession in London to bring for use for Festac festival, then the British say then Nigeria will pay £2 million for 1 month heritage. Then the one I carve, they show it for screen, for telly. The old one in British Museum, they show it. The two, they show it, look at everything, correct. Yes.
Now joining me from our Lagos studio to speak further on Festac 77, 43 years after, is Abiodun Abi. He's the Director of Events, National Theatre. Thank you very much, Mr. Abi, for joining us on Nationwide today.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now 43 years after Festac 77, where are we today?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I think we should be talking about what the festival set out to achieve when it was conceived. And a major amongst the aims of the festival, I think, was to ensure revival, resurgence, propagation, and promotion of our culture. No, that's a Black and African culture, our cultural values and civilization. To a large extent, I would say that, okay, then that was achieved. Another aim was to promote better international and interracial, understanding. Yeah, as a then, immediately after, I will say with perfect aplomb that that was also, achieved. And another aim was to project our artists, our performers, writers, and all that, their work to the world to ensure global acceptance, for them. And I think that actually provided a good window for the whole world to view what we have, and I think we were accepted. But today, I would say that we may not able to say perfectly, that we have been able, to sustain the gains. What with all the problems that we have around the world, even among, brothers and sisters in Africa, the latest being, the problem in South Africa and the rest of them. And I was expecting also that there ought to have been a follow-up to Festac 77, knowing fully well that the first edition happened in Dakar in 1966. So if another one, a larger one for that matter, was caused to happen in Lagos, Nigeria in 1977. This is 2020. I think by now, before now, we ought to have had another one if actually we are, very serious about, what we consider to be the aims and objectives. Because I believe that if periodically we bring brothers and sisters together, that will, in an environment of conviviality and jollity, and peace, I think that will foster unity and peace amongst us. We will interact often.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Abiodun Abe, Director of Events, National Theatre. Thank you very much. Now, moving on, the federal government has developed a new manual to regulate and standardize construction and installation of electricity infrastructure in the country. This is to address challenges of poor network and loss of lives. Minister of State for Power, Godi Jediagba, urged operators in the distribution subsector of electricity to comply with the new guideline. Joshua Ojito reports.
In many parts of the country, evidences of electricity installations are visible, through which key players in the electricity industry say such installations fall below standard. The consequences are poor network, as well as loss of lives and property. Now, the federal government is addressing sharp practices in the sector with a new guideline for operators in the distribution value chain to ensure consistency and best practices in installations.
The cases of burnt meters or burnt transformers or blown equipment would not be a frequent thing as it is today, because standardized equipment will be imported for this function. So therefore, we would be beneficial to all of us to adhere to the instructions contained in the manual.
Any installation that is thus commissioned for use without the certification, such installations are declared illegal.
There are expectations among industry players and the consumers that the manual will improve service delivery. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Following the recent release of rainfall pattern prediction for the year 2020 by NIMET, the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency echoed the need for flood-prone states, including the FCT, to prepare for probable flooding this year. This warning was This has put emergency managers in the FCT on their toes to prepare for any eventuality, as FEMA and the other sister agencies went on assessment tour of the prone locations in some parts of the FCT. Rosemary Motelel Bilal captured the tour.
By Nigerian Meteorological Agency, the previous floodings, which according to experts is the result of rapid urbanization of the city, has consistently wreaked havoc with lives lost. The story in the year 2019 is not different, and that has necessitated this on-the-spot assessment by disaster managers.
Development control were there, and they really answered in the affirmative. That is supposed to be there. That is it. It is in the act. So any person that obstructs the water course, when we remove, they should pay.
Other activities and other construction work that need to be done that will help the situation as much as possible. We'll prioritize that location and we hope before the rainy season.
The initiative is to enable stakeholders strategize for focused response and mitigation in the case of eventualities. And this is where the FCT Emergency Management Agency comes in.
All the agencies are trying to see how they can work. With this development, by the time we submit our report, the Honorable Minister, who is very keen about it and also desirous of saving lives and properties of the residents of the FCT, definitely something good will come out of it.
For now, attention is given to Galadimawa, Doko, and Lokogoma amongst worst hit locations across the city, with plans to assess other places. Rosemary Molteleng, Bilal, NTA News.
Let's now join Larry in Ibadan for more reports from that axis. Hello, Larry.
Good evening, Ifoma, and welcome to Ibadan. President Muhammadu Buhari has been commended for tackling most of environmental challenges in Osun State. This was at the inauguration and handing over of the Onirike flood channelization and road improvement in Ile-Ife, Osun State. Roti Kamo's report is here presented.
Over the years, residents of Onireke, a community in Ile-Ife, Osun State, often experienced flooding, which has rendered many homeless. The narrative is, however, changing with the channelization and improvement of the road project. Inaugurating the project, Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola reiterated the commitment of the federal government in tackling ecological problems across the country.
Advice to the beneficiaries of this project in Ile-Ife, Onireke quarter in particular, is to take full ownership of the project and keep it safe. The embankment and all the structure that is put down, don't let anybody come and destroy it.
Various speakers at the occasion commended the federal government for the timely intervention to the environmental problems faced by the people of Onireke community in Ile-Ife.
Keeping the community and Nigeria safe is a collective responsibility. This was the focal point of the campaign and sensitization organized by the National Orientation Agency, or your Directorate, in conjunction with policymakers and agency heads in Ibadan. Grace Bamidele has the details.
In view of the recent happenings across the world, the National Orientation Agency, or your State's Directorate, organized a sensitization on building a people of peace with opinion leaders, associations, unions, various organizations and agencies to interact and address the trend of events.
It is our responsibility to see that we take care of our structures. It is meant for us. It is our inheritance. The resources of Nigeria is being used for these public structures. So we have the responsibility of taking care of them.
All of us must key into the spirit of being in peace. All of us must key into the spirit of ensuring public utilities, properties are protected.
It's very, very important for everybody to know the causes and way of extinguishing the fire.
Participants lauded the initiative as a timely intervention.
So they've done a very good program enlightening us on how to get it back to my people.
Issues raised for advocacy are safety and security, prevention of Lassa fever and coronavirus, campaign against drug abuse and drug trafficking, as well as campaign against vandalization of public properties. In Ibadan, Grace Bamidele, NTA News.
And that's all from Ibadan. Rest of Nationwide continues with Ifoma in Abuja.
Thank you, Larry. Now, the trial of Omoyele Sowore at the Federal High Court Abuja has again been stalled due to the inability of the prosecution counsel to serve the defense team with the amended charge since taking over the case in December last year. Now, the report.
On resumption of the trial, the prosecution counsel informed the court that they are seeking for time to serve the defense the amended charge. The defense counsel objected to that prayer, saying the office of the Attorney General of the Federation has taken over the matter since December, arguing that the prosecution's argument is therefore baseless, and urged the court to strike out the charge for lack of diligence by the prosecution. The presiding judge, Justice Ijoma Ojukwu, expressed disappointment over the prosecution's call for adjournment. She awarded the sum of 200,000 naira to the defense and said the trial will not commence without evidence that the prosecution has made the payment.
What we asked for wasn't an adjournment, but the fact we asked for time to serve the amended charge and proceed to arraignment. That's what we asked for. So, well, the defense themselves never asked for cost, but we'll take necessary action regarding the issue of cost. But the fact is that we are back to court tomorrow for the purpose of arraignment on the amended charge. And that's all.
Bail was granted to our client by Ijoma Ojukwu, and you're all aware of the battles that went into that bail before Sowore and mandate were eventually released. Don't forget, on the 6th of December, an issue cropped up in court when the legacy Femi Falana insisted that the proof of witness statement, they have lined up their witness statement, but the documents that they have on their witness statement are redacted redacted statements, summary statements. So we have asked them, please serve these documents on us. That they have not done.
The case has been adjourned to Thursday, 13th of this month, to enable the prosecution serve the defense all necessary processes.
In the wake of the coronavirus and its attendant effects, Nigeria expresses solidarity with China at this trying moment as both countries unite in ensuring that the dreaded epidemic does not spread to Nigeria. Join us at 10:30 p.m. tonight for a documentary on the federal government's efforts at preventing importation of coronavirus, officially named by the United Nations as COVID-19, to Nigeria. All NTA stations are advised to hook up to the network service. Let's now pause to take more messages. Nationwide continues shortly. Do stay.
Lassa fever occurs when a person gets bitten by a rat carrying the Lassa virus. It is also contacted through the consumption of foods that have been contaminated by either the saliva, urine, or excreta of the rats. Lassa fever is deadly, so protect yourself and loved ones from it. Keep rats away from your homes. Ensure that leftover foods are properly covered at night and heat up properly before consumption. Wash fruits properly before you eat. Maintain regular hand wash with soap and water, as well as environmental sanitation. Report all feverish conditions and bleeding from the nose or mouth to the health facility nearest to you, and don't indulge in self-medication. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority.
Let's now join Mina for more reports from Enugu.
Good afternoon, Ifoma. Welcome to Enugu. The federal government, through the Ecological Fund Office, has completed and inaugurated an erosion control project at the Federal Road Safety Corps Academy, UDI, in UDI, local government area of Enugu State. Chidi Okorafo has details.
The project was one of the 23 ecological intervention projects approved by President Buhari and awarded by the Ecological Fund Office Tender Board in August 2018. The Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Ecological Fund, noted that the project will address the devastating effects of flooding and erosion menace within the academy, as well as reduce dangers to lives and properties in Udi local government area and its environs.
Today's project commissioning and handing over must be commended, as it will offer the community an opportunity to take ownership of the project in order to ensure its care, maintenance, and sustainability.
Permanent Secretary, Ecological Fund Office, represented by Deputy Director, Soil Erosion and Flood Control, Mr. Matthias Eluma, commended President Muhammadu Buhari for his support and approval, which led to the timely completion of the project.
The project was initiated through a request for an urgent intervention forwarded to the Ecological Funds Office by the Commandant of the Road Safety Corps.
Representative of the Federal Road Safety Corps Academy reacted to just.
Mr. President, sincerely, since assumption of duties since 1999, there has been a turnaround in the Federal Road Safety Corps. He is the only president for now in the records we have in terms of achievement in the Corps who has really taken safety on our road to another level.
The event featured inauguration and handing over of certificate of completion to the Federal Road Safety Corps Academy, Udi, Enugu State. In Enugu, Chidi Okorafo, NTA News.
Traders at the cattle market in Umuche, a Lok Panta, Umundochi local government area of Abia State, are counting their losses as a result of fire outbreak that destroyed property and goods worth millions of naira. Chinyere Okoli has the details of this report.
On a visit to assess the level of damage at the cattle market, Governor Kezi was assured of more firefighting equipment to help contain further occurrence. He commended the traders at the market for their peaceful conduct and cautioned Abia residents to be careful on how they handle inflammable materials in this dry season, but was grateful to God that no life was lost.
So we are going to do all we can to make sure we provide more firefighting equipment and locate the three senatorial districts so that we can have access to them.
The Administrative Secretary of Umuche Zeloba Cattle Market, Prince Awa Hassan, explained that they woke up on Friday morning to discover that fire had gone into sections of the market, stressing that all efforts to put off the fire was not successful. He revealed that they lost more than 100 shops and unestimated cash in the inferno and solicited for government assistance.
If properly managed, this is the big cattle market east of the Niger. And with the help of the government and all the security apparatus, we have tried to maintain peace and stability in the market.
Incidents of fire outbreaks in Abia State has become too many as residents challenge relevant government authorities to rise to the challenge. In Omochinyere Okobi, NTA News.
That's it from Enugu. It's back to you, Ifoma, for a continuation of Nationwide.
Many thanks, Mina. Now, for effective and efficient service delivery, as well as enhancing performance at all levels, the National Youth Service Corps has engaged inspectorate officers of the Scheme for Capacity Building Workshop in Kefi, Nasarawa State. Suleiman Uve Musa reports.
The 2020 NYSC Inspectors Capacity Development Program drawn participants from state secretariats across the country to interact and sharpen their skills in fulfilling the obligation of their mandate. Director General NYSC Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim challenged participants to reflect the General Code of Conduct of Public Service and adhere strictly to established procedures.
Recent increment in the allowance of our corps members calls for effective inspection and supervision and monitoring of our corps members in the field. So this workshop is a follow-up to that, so that we have something to take home, so that we encourage our corps members, our staff, to be up and doing.
Participants said they remain committed in adding value to the scheme.
Field officers, we are to implement the policy of the scheme at the grassroots level.
Theme for the training is enhancing the capacity of the NYSC inspectors for effective service delivery. From Kefi, Suleiman Ove Musa, NTA News.
The federal government has commenced rehabilitation of over 200 kilometers of road network across Ekiti State, aimed at opening up the state for accelerated development and ease the agony of motorists in the state. Federal Controller of Works in the state, Mr. Ishak Lawal, who said this, noted that the intervention will soon change the narrative of motorists and other road users in the state. Yemi Dalemo completes the story.
Giving the breakdown of the roads, Mr. Lawal, an engineer, said the federal government has awarded most of the road projects, adding that works has reached advanced stages on them, with some of them about 90% completed. The Federal Controller of Works urged residents, motorists, students of the Federal Polytechnic at Ekiti and Afe Babalola University to exercise little patience with the government as the Ureje culvert, which collapsed during the last year rain, has received attention, saying lasting solution to the problem is underway.
Because that I protested, nothing has been done on that bridge. But it's not only Ureje Bridge. It had the worst federal roads in this country today.
By the time we finish the work we are doing there, the people will come to thank us. That I'm sure. The bridge too, the Ureje Bridge is there to our art and to the management of our ministry.
According to him, the massive rehabilitation of roads going on across the major federal roads in Ekiti State, including construction of bridges when completed, will further boost the state's economy and affirm the federal government determination to positively impact on the lives of every Nigerian. The Federal Controller of Works in Ekiti also explained that effort has been intensified to address perennial problem of flooding on Ayemi Bridge in Ekiti, as the ministry has cleared all drains and removed factors responsible for flooding. In Ekiti, Yemi Dalemo, NT News.
We now go back to our first story on the president's visit to Maiduguri. Remember, we told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has sympathized with the government and people of Borno State over the terror at Auno, which claimed many lives, including travelers, with a call on the civil populace to intensify support to the security operatives to end the insurgency. The president, who came directly from Ethiopia, where he was attending African Union Summit, cut short his trip to sympathize with the state and reassured of federal government's commitment to quick resolution of the reign of terror. Mohammed Goni reports.
The aircraft conveying the president touched ground at the Maiduguri Air Force Base at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, where he was received by the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umara, and other top officials of government. The visit to Borno by the president followed his concern over last Sunday's gruesome attack on Auno community by Boko Haram insurgents, leading to the death of many people and the destruction of property. President Muhammadu Buhari had, while sympathizing with the government and people over the attack, stressed the need for a collaborative effort to end the terror activities, stressing that his administration is committed to restoration of security in the country.
With my understanding of our culture, I wonder how Boko Haram survives up to this time. As Commander-in-Chief, I campaigned post 2015 and last year on three fundamental issues. Security, because it doesn't make sense. You cannot properly preside over an institution or a country if it is not secure. This is just common sense. Everybody knows this.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara, who noted the gains made since 2015 in the fight against terror, expressed concern over the resurgence, tasking the military higher command to take the war to the enclaves of the Boko Haram insurgents.
And in the year 2016 or 2017, we have almost celebrated the demise of the Boko Haram insurgency. Notwithstanding your excellencies, between the period of March 2019 to date, we have started witnessing horrific and spontaneous attack by the insurgents, which has resulted into the loss of lives and properties of our people.
You have done well for us, and you are still doing for us, and we appeal to you to continue this search.
Shehu Borno Abubakar Ibn Umar Garba El-Kanemi appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for identifying with the people of the state. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Skwani, NTNS.
And now sports. The touch of the National Sports Festival is now in Maiduguri, Borno State's capital. The touch, which arrived this morning, was received with wide jubilation. Our correspondent, Abubakar Mohammed, is live on the telephone to tell us more on the arrival of the touch. Abubakar, what is the mood of Maiduguri residents on the arrival of the touch?
Okay, thank you, Ifoma. Honestly speaking, the government and people of Borno State were overwhelmed with joy, to receive the touch of unity. I think it's coming at a time it is, needed the most, considering the devastation experienced in some parts of the state. And how some people here are traumatized due to the activities of Boko Haram insurgents. In fact, the presentation of Touch of Unity can best be described as a great honor done to the government of Borno State and the people in general.
Okay, Abubakar, you are live in the studio actually. But how prepared are Borno State athletes for the National Sports Festival scheduled for Edo State next month?
Sorry, come again, Ifoma.
How prepared are the athletes in Borno State, for the National Sports Festival?
Okay, the athletes are sparing no effort in terms of preparations, even though they are not in camp currently. Academy Warriors, the major sports center in the state, has been given a facelift recently in addition to upgrading of facilities. All the athletes have been restricted from participating in certain social activities. Borno State government, on its part, has provided all the necessary wherewithal towards ensuring success of athletes at the forthcoming National Sports Festival in Edo State.
Okay, Abubakar, where is the torch heading to from Maiduguri?
Okay, information made available to us indicates the to from Maiduguri.
Okay, thank you very much, Abubakar. Now, the Senate has held a valedictory session in honor of late Senator Benjamin Uwajumogu. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the legislators dedicated the whole plenary eulogizing the late former APC senator who represented Imo North Senatorial District, as they described him as a great leader who is rooted in the principle of equity, justice, and nationalism. And that concludes Nationwide for today. We thank you so much for being part of it. Bye for now.